Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about American politics and how much should be sacrificed for service to your nation. All right, so I've recently been watching Madam Secretary. I'm in the 6th and final season. I'm actually in the middle of literally the last episode of the entire series, and it did something really interesting. So Madam Secretary Elizabeth, she's played by Tia Leone. By the way, spoilers for Madam Secretary. So basically, Madam Secretary Tia Leone, her character's name is Elizabeth. She becomes the president of the United States of America in the last season, right? Now, this entire series is essentially like a dream narrative of the Blue Power base of what if Hillary was cool and what if Hillary won, right? What if she was just the best Secretary of State we ever had? What if she had what if she had, you know what, I'm not even going to go there. and what if she won the presidency, right? So basically, they didn't get this in real life. Blue Power base, Hollywood was like, let's make the story, right? And it's been tremendous. I've absolutely loved every episode. 5 out of 5 star show. If you're a political wonk, I highly recommend that you watch this show. It is absolutely fantastic. And I'm telling you, you're going to love it, right? But there's this character in it, and his name is Russell Jackson. Russell Jackson, so while Elizabeth was Secretary of State, Russell Jackson was the Chief of Staff, okay, for the President. This is an incredibly important role, and history has shown us that the Chief of Staff is like a kingmaker, right? He's just so powerful. He or she is so powerful, and actually, I don't know if there's ever been a female Chief of Staff. It's an interesting question. Let me know if you know there has been. I don't think there have been many. But the Chief of Staff basically is incredibly powerful because the Chief of Staff is the real conduit to how things flow to the President. Okay, it's absolutely critical role. It's super important. Okay, so Russell Jackson is the Chief of Staff for the President, who Elizabeth, this Madam Secretary of State. She is the primary, Russell Jackson is the Chief of Staff for the President that Madam Secretary serves, right? Then Madam Secretary becomes President, and she needs a really good Chief of Staff. It's incredibly difficult to fill this role, and so Madam Secretary gives it to Russell Jackson. Now, Russell Jackson has already had a heart attack in the job, okay? And he really, and his wife desperately wants him to, his spouse. So Russell Jackson's spouse desperately wants Russell Jackson to quit, right? And the reason why is he's very old, he's well past the age of retirement, and he's had a heart attack, right? And his wife is like, let's live together, let's travel together, let's paint together, let's have breakfast together, let's be in love and enjoy our years. We have the money we need, we have everything we need, we have the time we need. It's time for you to put down your service to this nation and put us first, right? I've served and waited for you and realized that you were busy serving the President, but now, there's no need for you to continue to do this job, right? Well, Elizabeth goes to Russell Jackson and says, hey, I want you to do this job again because I'm struggling to get somebody to do this job. So you're like, oh boy, and it's alarming, right? You're like, wow, this is a tough ask, right? Because Russell Jackson, the job is so stressful, it could literally kill him. Right? But one thing that Elizabeth finds out is Russell says yes and does the job, right? Elizabeth finds out a year later that her asking him to do this because Russell Jackson's wife realized that he had a heart attack on the job and this job would probably kill him, because he goes back and puts the job in front of her and ignores her ask to go travel and have breakfast and relax and love one another, that they end up starting down the road toward divorce, right? And so Elizabeth's like, hey, did me asking you to take this job end your marriage? And he goes, well, it didn't, it wasn't not the reason. That's his answer, right? And you're like, oh boy, right? So here's the thing, right? I have incredible, so the thing is, what is the levels of service that we should give to our nation, right? Well, we already all agree that one of the things that can be done for the level of service is a life exit. Every single one of us knows that if you are a first responder or if you are a soldier, you could have a life exit on the job, right? Based on the tasks you're required to do. It's very clear, right? And we're all like, yeah, that's fine. That's part of it, right? But now the question is, should we be willing to break the forever vow that we made with the person that we love the most? Is that worthy of sacrifice for serving your nation? And I say absolutely not. Russell Jackson is a jerk, and he should have never taken the job. He should have done what his wife asked, should have done what his spouse asked, right? And that level of commitment to the job is too high, right? And the reason why is, and the reason why is their spouses can have other spouses. They say, okay, when I met you, you were in this job or you were headed toward this job, right? And I knew from the gate that a life exit could be part of the deal here. But no one, right, gets on and says, hey, you're going to promise to be with me forever, and then you're not going to be with me because you're always going to be doing this job, and there's never going to be a time for us. That's not part of the vows. No vows ever include that, right? And the reality is there is a point where if you are choosing to make a forever vow, to be married, right, to make a sacred vow, or just a promise, for us who believe in something sacred, something beyond the reality, something supernatural, right? We make a vow before a supernatural thing, right? And that's part of our, if we believe in the supernatural, if we believe in the sacred, something holy, something set apart, that can be part of it, right? But even human beings know what promises are, and a vow is a special promise, right? And that's my point is, no, that is never, ever, ever worth the nation, right? When you vow to love somebody forever and to put them first, you never put this nation before them, right? You can have, and that's the point is, like, if you have a life exit in the middle of all this, right? If you do have a life exit, and that was connected to your role prior to you being married, and that was always known in the mix, that can be part of it. And there's even structures where when you're gone, the nation is saying, we know you made a promise, you made a forever vow. And so we have a whole slew of policies and tax benefits and a whole bunch of other things that are going to aid you in this, right? That are absolutely going to aid you in this change, right? And so I really feel like, yes, a forever vow, yes, you can absolutely, give service to the point of life exit. And you don't even need to be a soldier to do that. Bernie Sanders has already set the mark that you can life exit yourself in regular civil duty, right? Like, he set the bar, right? Like, that is the new level of commitment that we expect from politicians, right? If you don't roll as hard as Bernie, what the heck are you here for, right? Like, that's the new level of commitment. That's the new standard of what you should be ready to do, right? Truly incredible. Truly, truly, truly incredible. Right? It's one of the biggest changes from 2020. But if your service to the nation means that you are breaking a vow, no, that is not part of the contract. And I really feel like just seeing this Madam Secretary thing, if you break your forever vow and you put your spouse in the back seat forever, and you are not there for them at the level that is fair and the level that was promised, that is service that is too high to the nation. So yes, you can life exit for your nation, but you cannot vow exit for your nation. You cannot. It is wrong. Russell Jackson brings up the question of what is the limits of serving for liberty. And I say, that is the limit. You can't go. It's too far. It is too far, right? All that is my opinion. Am I wrong? What do you think? I think you can life exit in service to this nation, even if you're married, right? If it comes directly from a task, from fulfilling your duties, that's okay. That's part of the promise. That's part of the contract, the part of the social contract, right? But if you vow exit, that is not acceptable, and you are a jerk, right? In my opinion, Russell Jackson from Madam Secretary is a jerk. He did it wrong. He made the wrong choices. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion on the topic. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.